Harold Rojas here. Today I am going to tell you a fairy tale called Mouthbeat and the Two Wise Ducks. Once upon a time, there was a smart girl called Mouthbeat. She was on the way to see her friend Charity Lakeman when she decided to take a short cut through Stinkville Forest. It wasn't long before Maud got lost. She looked around, but all she could see were trees. Nervously, she felt into her bag for her favorite toy, Dolly. But Dolly was nowhere to be found. Maud began to panic. She felt sure she had packed Dolly. To make matters worse, she was starting to feel hungry. Unexpectedly, she saw a wise duck dressed in a green coat disappearing into the trees. How odd, thought Maud. For the want of anything better to do, she decided to follow the peculiarly dressed duck. Perhaps it could tell her the way out of the forest. Eventually, Maud reached a clearing. In the clearing were three houses. One made from sweet potatoes, one made from fruit gums, and one made from muffins. Maud could feel her tummy rumbling. Looking at the houses did nothing to ease her hunger. "Hello," she called. "Is anybody there?" Nobody replied. Maud looked at the roof on the closest house and wondered if it would be rude to eat somebody else's chimney. Obviously, it would be impolite to eat a whole house, but perhaps it would be considered acceptable to nibble the odd fixture or lick the odd fitting in a time of need. A cackle broke through the air, giving Maud a fright. A witch jumped into the space in front of the houses. She was carrying a cage. In that cage was Dolly. "Dolly!" shouted Maud. She turned to the witch. "That's my toy!" The witch just shrugged. "Give Dolly back!" she cried Maud. "Not at your Nelly," said the witch. "At least, let Dolly out of that cage." Before she could reply, two wise ducks rushed in front a footpath on the other side of the clearing. Maud recognized the one in green coat that she'd seen earlier. The witch seemed to recognize him too. "Hello, big duck," said the witch. "Good morning." The duck noticed Dolly. "Who is this?" "That's Dolly," explained the witch. "Oh, Dolly would look lovely in my house. Give it to me," demanded the duck. The witch shook her head. "Dolly is staying with me." Excuse me," Maud interrupted. "The Dolly lives with me and not in a cage." Big Duck ignored her. "Is there nothing you'll trade?" he asked the witch. The witch thought for a moment, then said, "I'd like to be entertained. I'll release her to anybody who can eat a whole front door." Big Duck looked at the house made from muffins and said, "No problem. I could eat an entire house made from muffins if I wanted to." "That's nothing," said the next duck. "I could eat two houses." "There's no need to show off," said the witch. "Just eat one front door and I'll let you have Dolly." Maud watched, feeling very worried. She didn't want the witch to give Dolly to Big Duck. She didn't think Dolly would like living with a wise duck, away from her house and all her other toys. The other one duck watched while Big Duck put on his bib and withdrew a knife and fork from his pocket. "I'll eat this whole house," said Big Duck. "Just you watch." Big Duck pulled up a corner of the front door of the house made from fruit gums. He gulped it down, smiling, and went back for more and more and more. Eventually, Big Duck started to get bigger. Just a little bit bigger at first, but after a few more forkfuls of fruit gums, he grew to the size of a large snowball. And he was every bit as round. I don't feel too good," said Big Duck. Suddenly he started to roll. He'd grown so round that he could no longer balance. "Help!" he cried, as he rolled off down a slope into the forest. Big Duck never finished eating the front door made from fruit gums, and Dolly remained trapped in the witch's cage. Average Duck stepped up and approached the house made from muffins. "I'll eat this whole house," said Average Duck. "Just you watch." Average Duck put off a corner of the front door of the house made from muffins. She gulped it down, smiling, and went back for more and more and more. After a while, Average Duck started to look a little queasy. She grew greener and greener. A woodcutter walked into the clearing. "What's this bush doing here?" he asked. "I'm not a bush, I'm a duck," said Average Duck. "It talks!" exclaimed the woodcutter. "Those talking bushes are the worst kind. I'd better take it away before somebody gets hurt." "No, wait!" cried Average Duck, as the woodcutter picked her up. But the woodcutter ignored her cries and carried the duck away under his arm. Average Duck never finished eating the front door made from muffins, and Dolly remained trapped in the witch's cage. "That's it," said the witch. "I win. I get to keep Dolly." "Not so fast," said Maud. "There is still one front door to go. The front door of the house made from sweet potatoes. And I haven't had a turn yet." "I don't have to give you a turn," laughed the witch. "My game, my rules." The woodcutter's voice carried through the forest. "I think you should give her a chance. It's only fair." "Fine," said the witch. "But you saw what happened to the ducks. She won't last long." "I'll be right back," said Maud. "What?" said the witch. "Where's your sense of impatience? I thought you wanted Dolly back." Maud ignored the witch and gathered a hefty pile of sticks. She came back to the clearing and started a small campfire. Carefully, she broke off a piece of the door of the house made from sweet potatoes and toasted it over the fire. Once it had cooked and cooled just a little, she took a bite. She quickly devoured the whole piece. Maud sat down on a nearby log. "You fail," cackled the witch. "You were supposed to eat the whole door." "I haven't finished," explained Maud. "I'm just waiting for my food to go down." When Maud's food had digested, she broke off another piece of the door made from sweet potatoes. Once more, she toasted her food over the fire and waited for it to cool just a little. She ate it at a leisure pace, then waited for it to digest. Eventually, after several sittings, Maud was down to the final piece of the door made from sweet potatoes. Carefully, she toasted it and allowed it to cool just a little. She finished her final course. Maud had eaten the entire front door of the house made from sweet potatoes. The witch stamped her foot angrily. "You must have tricked me," she said. "I don't reward cheating." "I don't think so," said a voice. It was the woodcutter. He walked back into the clearing, carrying his axe. "This little girl won fair and square. Now hand over Dolly, or I will chop your broomstick in half." The witch looked horrified. She grabbed her broomstick and placed it behind her. Then, huffing, she opened the door of the cage. Maud hurried over and grabbed Dolly, checking that her favorite toy was all right. Fortunately, Dolly was unharmed. Maud thanked the woodcutter, grabbed a quick souvenir, and hurried on to meet Charity. It was starting to get dark. When Maud got to Charity's house, her friend threw her arms around her. "I was so worried," cried Charity. "You are very late." As Maud described her day, she could tell that Charity didn't believe her, so she grabbed a napkin from her pocket. "What's that?" asked Charity. Maud unwrapped a doorknob made from fruit gums. "Pudding," she said. Charity almost fell off her chair. The end. Okay, guys, that was my story. I hope you had listened to this fairy tale and I hope you like it. That's all for today and see you in the next opportunity. Bye bye.